Hi, everyone. Welcome to Soul Astrology with Christine and Laura. We're doing another current energy astro reading for the new moon that's coming up on July 28th of 2022. So today we're recording it about a week ahead of time. And what's interesting is that this new moon coincides with a conjunction that's also happening that's extremely powerful. So we have, with the new moon, we have Mars, the North Node, and Uranus. I want to say those are really powerful masculine energies. But we'll talk about what those energies mean, what they mean to each of us on our soul journey, and maybe how we can access them and use them to kind of open up and do some soul work.
Hello, everybody. I think we are entering, for me, the second part of the year is going to be pretty amazing. Can be a little bit challenging, but I think it's open for a lot of personal growth. I am experiencing right now a lot of things going on. And of course, at the beginning, it feels like chaos and conflict, but at least for me, it's always about finding what is in me that is expressing this situation, this issue, and also what opportunities that situation is giving me to adjust, to understand myself, and to bring changes in my life. I think when you disconnect from being the victim in every situation and you start seeing, okay, this is what is happening, not as much as, oh, this is what's happening to me and it happens all the time, but when you start seeing this is what is happening, what is the message here, and how I can navigate this, what lessons are there for me, I think it gives you, still sometimes things still are still painful, but it gives you a perspective and it helps you navigate through it without feeling attacked and feeling it so personal. I don't know. I don't know if I'm being able to explain myself, but and that's what we want to um kind of bring through this reading today is where you can find opportunities for growth, what life is showing you, and in what areas of your life you might be ready to expand and maybe jump into the unknown and find new meanings.
So maybe we can start with the new moon itself.
Yes. The new moon will happen on the 28th and in the beginning of Leo. So, of course, new moons is the sun and the moon coming together, the male and female energy coming together, and every time they come together, they create, they plant a seed. This day will be kind of impossible to understand what we are planting. We'll see this more happening in the next 2 weeks with the full moon, and very clear in 18 months when we'll have a full moon in Leo. But right now, we're going to be starting a process, and it's a process that will start activating the energy of Leo. So, Leo is the self, Leo is the light in our hearts, Leo is us giving expression to the divine light, activating our gifts, activating our talents, and sharing with the world what comes from our heart. And it's happening very close to Mercury. So Mercury might help with some understandings of what is that we have within ourselves to give to the world.
Yeah, I want to say too that so usually when you hear of the new moon, it's the opposite of the full moon, right? So it's the dark moon. It's when there is no moon in the sky that you can see visibly. So a lot of this is going to be interior work, maybe seeds that you plant within yourself or things that you'd like to bring energetically through to you, the way you live, the way you shine your light, the way you exude that Leo energy into the world. So it might be good to look into your natal chart and see where Leo is and in what house that it's in, because that's the aspect of life that these seeds are going to affect or to be planted in. And I keep being drawn to the Pluto opposite the new moon that's going to be happening. And so that's in Capricorn. So again, it's going to be maybe the way you govern yourself and the belief systems that you have and the structures and the routines that you've created that are going to need to shift and change in order for these seeds to find new ground to grow. So it's that rebirth energy, but in and around structures, systems, routines, even work. The way you work at things to create things may have to adjust or change in some way in order for these seeds to kind of really grow and blossom for you in the next year and a half.
Yeah, it's very transformative. Again, we are having a Scorpio ascendant in a position with Pluto. Pluto is the ruler of Scorpio. So we are talking again about this energy of deep transformation and the releasing of all the beliefs that are not longer serving us. We continue going through transformations after transformations. But for me, it's the idea of dissolving and purification and just breaking free from things that we incorporated in our lives that are not ours, that are not helping us, that do not belong to the energy that we are trying to bring forth. So it's really like releasing chains.
Mhm.
And through, I don't know, it's maybe time to be alone, time to reflect, time to meditate, time to analyze everything, what we are doing things, the way we are doing things, what we are connecting with some people, what we are afraid to do other things. It's understanding what is deep hidden in ourselves.
And if you want some more direct guidance, just spreading it open to all beliefs and all aspects of your life, if you bring it back to Leo, it could be the way that you kind of stand in your power, the way that you assert that you have this power and you are an individual self that deserves attention, that deserves um, honoring, that deserves others to see who you are, to feel comfortable in that role. It may be with the way you show passion, it could be the way you show and express your creativity and your unique self. So those may be some things if you feel like that's spreading the net too wide and you don't have any direction. And then again, coming back to your natal chart, if your Leo governs your 10th house, it could be the way you interact with large groups. If it governs your first house, it could be the way you relate to yourself and your body. So it is also helpful maybe for you to look at your natal chart to kind of get an idea of how this may won't be wanting you to express and to focus your energy on in your life, what aspects.
Yeah, looking at the houses to see in what aspect of your life you are planting this new seed.
Mhm.
And also look if you have any planets in the at the beginning of Leo, the beginning of Aquarius, at the beginning of Taurus, and at the beginning of Scorpio. So if you think this area here, 90 degrees, 180 degrees, and 270, if I did the math right. So because whatever planet is associated with this new moon, that planet will bring its own energy. So if you have, for example, Venus and somewhere connected to this new moon, you will be activating something related also to the energy of Venus. We could be joy in life, art in life, abundance in life. If you have this connected to Jupiter, you might start looking life in a different way, finding meanings, new meanings for everything that you do. If you have this connected, for example, with Saturn, you will want to start creating new structures in your life. With Mars, the warrior in you is activated. So it's also important to see what is also playing from your own personal natal chart with this new moon to see specifically for you what is being activated.
Mhm. I do keep looking at how, and again, and this is in the chart that's based on where we are in the world, so the east coast of the United States, but it's also very close to the midheaven. So it's at the apex, the pinnacle of the chart. So it's about, you know, the striving for the best and the ultimate of who you are meant to be. And so releasing these things, if you look at it with Pluto there, it can be a little daunting. It can be shadow work. It can be events happening in your life that you didn't expect, or emotions arising that you didn't expect. But if you can just take that perspective that Laura was talking about and just kind of step back, take a breath, and look at it, if you can, a little bit objectively, and see how working with these shadows might help you open up, release, move forward, move through certain things in your life that you may have been avoiding or not wanting to do, that this new moon energy and this connection with Pluto that's making these things come up, it's at the pinnacle. It's asking you to move forward towards what you ultimately as a soul had planned for you to achieve, that greatness, that you know, being the sun at high noon in your chart, that shining the light with nothing getting in the way.
Yeah, and you might not know what this seed is all about right now. I think you have to move through this process with faith, understanding what is coming from your heart and honoring that feeling. At this point is accepting the heart's guidance because the mind is not there yet. So it's like opening a portal, not knowing where you're getting through, not
Mhm.
knowing what's going to be on the other side. But somehow inside, you know that you have to go through that portal.
Mhm.
And that is also what Pluto, because I always picture Pluto as a black hole. And in my meditations, in order to get to places, I always have to go through that, jump into that black hole, not knowing what's going to happen on the other side. And I see how at this moment in life, our heart is telling you to do things differently, to start trying new things, to release routines and things that kept us safe and alive, and jumping into things that we do not know how they want to work. But the need and the voice in our heart, I think, is becoming stronger and stronger. Not just for me, I'm hearing this with from a lot of people, and that need to change, but not knowing exactly where to go. But I think if we just take that step, that one step, and embracing the unknown and allow life to show us where to go, and life has this thing that presents situations that are always molding us and shaping us. And if we pay attention to what life is reflecting for us, we are being able to figure what we are doing and where we are going and what is our next task to get done.
Mhm. Um, I obviously I think in the last video we talked about the Scorpio ascendant, but that also kind of underscores Pluto governs Scorpio. So all of those energies are kind of emphasized, highlighted, underlined again by the Scorpio ascendant that we have in the chart as well.
Yeah, there is a flow of energy between Taurus and Scorpio. And Taurus is the having, the getting things, enjoying physicality and the things that the physical world give us, while Scorpio is letting go, letting die, letting dissolve, and keeping the essence. So these two are always balancing. And this is what we have now. But because Scorpio is in the ascendant, is kind of encouraging us to, instead of holding on to things, releasing things. Taurus is the one that hold on to things. Scorpio releases and is open to go through the transformation. So that is this ascendant showing us. This is the energy that we need to use to navigate all the things happening in the sky right now.
Hmm. So that kind of leads us then to the Mars, Uranus, and North Node.
Yeah. Did you want to talk first? Because I think Mercury is connected here somehow with the new moon and is in a position with Saturn. Do you want to touch this first before jumping into the other big theme?
Sure.
Um, because for me, the idea of Mercury in Leo is giving us a lot of clarity. Usually Mercury is the mind. I don't feel that the mind is clear, although the path somehow is clear. I don't know if that makes sense. But I have this idea that I want to explain of Mercury giving us clarity on the direction, but not exactly every step of the way right now. And it's in opposition with Saturn. Saturn is the one that have structures already set, the ones that define boundaries, the ones that set the limits, and kind of it's a good thing because it gives us stability, but also um, if we don't work with the light side of Saturn, also we can feel trapped into things that we do every day, thinking that we cannot change them. Always doing what is known because it's comfortable and safe without daring to do something new. So Mercury in opposition with Saturn, I think, is bringing somehow a understanding or an idea of seeing what is that we are doing every day and what we need to continue doing every day, but also what we can start doing differently. What do you think, Christine?
Yeah, I think it really ties in with what I was saying about belief systems, routines, and all of that that we need to kind of look at. I think that's the energy that I was tapping into when I talked about that before when I
Mhm.
mentioned the new moon. Um,
And
so to me, it's about beliefs. I very strongly I feel like it's about beliefs. So beliefs to me run again with that Scorpio energy. It's and with the Pluto connection sometimes we hold beliefs and act upon them and create routines and how we maneuver in the world, and we're not even aware of them. So I think that's what this Pluto energy is asking us to do. And the opposition to Saturn is that idea of, okay, so we need Saturn in our lives, right? We need him or that energy in order to progressively move forward in very conscious ways. But this energy of Mercury with the new moon, Pluto, and Saturn is asking us to kind of maybe deconstruct some of those beliefs and really look at them, especially where we're not feeling fulfilled, where there's some kind of tension, where there's some kind of shadow feelings, the depression, anxiety, stress, restlessness, to take those as cues to maybe areas where we need to kind of restructure our beliefs, look at them, figure out what's working. And I'm wondering if, and this might not work with the Pluto energy, but I'm wondering with new moon, it's the idea that you can dream for yourself, right? The new moon's about dreams and possibilities, and the moon also governs emotions. So I think those are going to be the cues for you, and it's asking you to look at old beliefs, maybe put out new ones that you kind of feel like, oh, I wish upon a star kind of things, and really set those down too, along maybe with some more very concrete things that you'd like to change or shift or do, or aspects of your life where you'd like to change those routines to kind of bring in something new that's going to let you achieve that Leo energy, that midheaven energy that we talked about.
The message that I got is look what is not working and have
Yeah.
the courage to change it. It's like,
Mhm.
look what is not working. Mercury and Saturn have the courage to change it is the new moon with Pluto.
Yeah.
Look what is not working for you and then have the courage to change. And in
Mhm.
order to change, you need to walk into the unknown and try new things. And of course, ego get really crazy when you try new things, but you can do a little talking and convincing and allow ego to see that you can still be safe, and start creating little changes. Doesn't have to be all the change at once, but
Mhm.
start creating daily little changes and prove to your own ego that you know what you're doing.
Mhm.
And honor what ego does, which is keeping you safe. Trying to avoid seeing you getting into trouble, trying to uh, put avoiding to have you in places that you can be at risk. But in order to evolve and grow, sometimes you need to take some risks. So that's what I'm getting.
Mhm. Yeah, makes sense.
All right, so how about now? um, this is the reason why we wanted to create this video today. And we are having now a conjunction that is already close, and it's gonna be getting closer, I think, at the beginning of August, when Mars moves right into this area here with Uranus and North Node. But it's already affecting us, and it's going to affect us for the whole month of August. So it's an energy that is starting to build up, and I think it's going to be like a full moon, full energy of these three together at the beginning of August. Um, for me, I like to see things in three different ways. Is if I see Uranus, what Uranus is? Uranus is the message from the heavens, um, the message from beings of light that lives outside our reality, showing us what is possible, showing us things that are not ready here yet, but they are possible. Some of them work, some of them might not work. But in a way, Uranus always wants you to try and see what you can incorporate into physicality. So that's the energy of Uranus. The North Node is an amplifier. It's showing you that's the direction where you have to go. So when these two get together, for me, is like right now we need to start trying new things. We need to open ourselves to see new possibilities, which also connects with what we were saying before. But this is another way that the sky has to show us that this is the time to bring new things into our lives. And what happens with enter Mars is that we have the courage, we have the energy, the strength, the commitment to make that happen.
Hmm. I'm thinking about, so Uranus for me is definitely, like you said, inspiration and messages from the beyond, from source, from universal consciousness. But I don't feel that it is, I feel it's more expansive opportunities than it is directives. So I'm I'm feeling like we need to come back to this idea of faith and trust. And I think that's how to access this, because the new moon is in square to, or almost in square to, this conjunction. So it doesn't, the energy between the two does not flow easily, right? It's almost like around a blind corner to access the one energy to the other. So there has to be kind of this faith and trust in order to bring these energies together. It's not about being able to harness both consciously at the same time almost. So it's the Uranus is opening up that expansive connection that you have to an all energy. And you will have sparks of insight come to you about things in your life or ideas that you can do or people that come, and it can be sudden and unexpected, they always say with Uranus. So the idea is when they come, to recognize them, and then it's your choice to take what feels right to you, and Mars is the energy to act upon it, and the North Node is then showing you that by doing these actions based on inspirations given to you by Uranus that you may not even have thought of before for yourself, or that feel like totally weird, or it guides you to moving forward on your soul journey, right? The North Node is that guide point in your chart about directions that you need to go in order to achieve what your soul wanted you to do in this lifetime, right? The work that it saw for itself and how it wanted to grow and evolve. So for me, Uranus offers those opportunities, but I feel very much it's you tapping into the energies that are flowing down, and there might be lots of different things that are coming to you, but you don't need to make sense. It's just kind of using that Mars energy that's in conjunction with it to kind of take initiative, decide which ones flow for you right now, which ones work for you, which ones inspire you right now, and then take action. Mars is about taking action and initiative. So I think that's part of what the energy is that's going on in these connections with the new moon and this big conjunction that's happening.
Yeah, it is happening in Taurus. And Taurus is the most physical of all the zodiac signs, is Earth. So for me, and Taurus is the work that we do every day, is what we have, is how we work in a way, all our routines. So for me, that's why Uranus being in Taurus is really, it's inspiration that come from above in a way, but really directed to our physical lives and the physical world, our physical body, the physical things that we do, that we have, that we touch. Is everything that is really tangible, right? Is everything that we can understand with our bodies.
But
So
it's also self-love and self-worth too,
yes,
valuing
exactly.
yourself.
Mhm. But for me, at this time, is it's really applying what it comes from the above to our routines, to physical stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's not, for me, it's not meant to stay in the mind, because Uranus can stay forever in the mind, can entertain your mind forever. But
Mm-hmm.
with Uranus in Taurus, is actually what is in the mind that you can use, that you can work with in physicality, in this world, and of course in your life.
Mm-hmm.
It's something that we transform ideas into matter, something
Mm-hmm.
like that. That's how I'm feeling it.
Yeah. And I think that's just touching on how I was feeling into the Mars energy, where it was taking initiative and action, which is, I think, the same kind of energy that you're talking about with Taurus.
Now, what I kind of feel now is there's a lot of inspiration and a lot of ideas, but Uranus is sudden changes, and Mars is the warrior. So I think it can be a roller coaster of emotions and maybe some anger coming to surface. That of
Mm-hmm.
course is amplified by the North Node there. So and Taurus sometimes can get a little stubborn. So I think it's also a combination that can create conflict. It's a combination that can, out of the blue, make you say something that then you might regret it, or make you do something that you might regret it, and that you feel that it happened like a flash and you didn't think of it, and then when it happened, it's too late to apologize, something like that.
Mhm.
So I think with that, we need to be a little bit careful. And I think this is a good time to also think or feel before you say or before you act, in a way, slowing down a little bit and see if what you're gonna bring forth is gonna be healing and loving, or if they, create chaos in your life.
Mm. And I think if we go back to the Pluto, where it can be those moments of, you know, things happening in your life that aren't necessarily comfortable or not necessarily things that you want to confront or look at in your life. So that anger that may come up and the confrontation energy and the lack of compromise energy and the triggers, those may be those moments when, you can step back and kind of say, okay, I felt anger in this moment, or that person or this situation triggered me. It's those that kind of are the guide points then for you, if you want to use the insights and take action and change routines and change maybe the way you interact with a certain person, because they always are triggering you and you always react the same way, and to create something new from it and a new behavior or a new way of looking at it.
And I'm seeing here Lilith is also participating in this um, fire, and Lilith is in Cancer. So Lilith is the wild energy in ourselves.
Mm,
In Cancer, for me, it's like, be careful with what you say at home, with all those things that come that you want to say, and sometimes you don't think before you say it, with your family, with your close groups, with the people that you love, with the people that you feel safe with family. Be careful with the things that you express, because you might have some regrets later.
mhm.
It can open the Pandora box and everything happens. It also can bring healing and can bring a discussion that will maybe heal things from the past, but maybe there are more loving ways to express yourself if you first think about it and reflect a little bit on what you want to say.
And she's also with Venus, so it's double feminine energy. So it may be around the feminine energies in yourself, whether you're male, female, whatever gender um, you identify with. That feminine side of you may be something that is being triggered, or that is somehow needing to be addressed to be balanced out.
Yeah.
It's interesting that it's the masculine feminine, um, because that's so playing out in my own life. I'm really feeling that strongly myself. So it's interesting to see it in the chart as well. That it, and again, we're talking about for you, but this is also speaking to the collective.
Mhm.
So it's not just as an individual that we're feeling this. We'll see it playing out in the world around us and society as well.
Yeah, all these changes here are things for me. Taurus is the world, is nature. So maybe that's why we're having the extreme heat. We have Mars there, and well, of course, confrontations and fires all over the world. There is here a lot of fiery, um, explosive, right? Because Uranus is kind of explosive, with Mars is the fire. So it's fire that expands and on Earth, on the physical world.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, and Mars in Cancer, when we're talking world astrology, have to be with society, is the people, the communities. So could be it could be also, the feminine energy within communities being also activated or fiery or inspired to act on things.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it's always two ways of seeing: is what's happening in the world, but also what's happening in me. And you are going through this balancing of male and female energies. I'm going of course, on the opposite way, I'm going through the same thing. So we are both navigating this new territory.
Yeah. And it really is, when we talk about new territory, the taking action for me, it really is coming from kind of this gut, kind of intuitive. I don't know why, but I just know certain things, a thing feels right. And just taking action on that one thing, one step, and the path, I don't know where the path's going. I don't know what all the steps are, but it's just taking the initiative and moving in that direction that you're feeling guided by your intuition, by your connection with spirit or with God's source or whatever it is. So it is really this idea where the physical self is connected with the higher self, the bigger self, the higher soul. And that connection, I think for most people, you may have moments and flashes of insight and wisdom and clarity, but for the most part, maneuvering in between with both of those energies is not really clear, succinct, concise. You just have to have faith and confidence enough that if you take this step, the next one will open up for you.
What I'm saying as a very positive side is Jupiter here trying with the new moon and with Mercury. And Jupiter is expansion. And Jupiter in Aries is the beginning of expansion. So the beginning of moving into something better, something more open, something more joyful. That's the idea that I have of Jupiter. Jupiter in Aries is the beginning of a path, right? Because that's what Aries is a beginning. So Jupiter now is giving us a door to enter a new path of openness and giving our existence new meanings, things that we didn't have before. So if with everything that is happening and all the chaos and anxiety and life forcing us to try new things and life taking from us things that we were used to, we're having Jupiter in a way beaming with light that is giving us the faith and showing us that something better is possible.
And Aries for me is the self, the body, the physicality of who you are. It's stepping into physical form as the start of the path. And it's square to that feminine. So again, you may not be very clear about why this feminine is being triggered in you, or why you're being put in situations where you're being asked to either question how balanced that feminine energy is within you and how you express it in the world. So that to me, when I see squares, it's always kind of like, it's like throwing down the gauntlet. It's, because it's asking you kind of to work with an energy that you can't clearly access, but it's there. And it's very dynamic to me. There's a possibility there that if you can maneuver that 90-degree angle and kind of work your way between the two planets that are connected in that 90-degree angle, there's great gifts that can, but it's always going to be something where you're not clear about where it's going, where you can't, when you're in the Venus Lilith energy, you can't really see Jupiter and vice versa. So you always kind of have to feel your way through it versus concretely seeing your way through it.
Yeah, for me, squares always require a lot of work.
Yeah.
It's a lot of potential, but it's a lot of work. It's probably the connection that requires more work, like physical work sometimes, and also inner work. But it's really where we need to set our intentions and get into it.
Which is kind of what we've been saying about this whole chart.
Yeah, and again, like in the previous reading, everything is happening on the side when we connect with the other. So all the planets are on the side of the descendant. This is the descendant, and all except for Pluto, all the other planets are in this on the side of the descendant. So which means is that all these lessons and all these experiences and all the chaos will happen by interacting with each other. So it's the other, the one that is going to bring us the lessons. It's the interaction with the others that is going to help us grow. It will
But
happen.
again, go ahead.
No, no. What do you want to
I
say?
was just going to say, it's again, Pluto is outside of that, so it's in the intrapersonal, within you side. So again, triggers, belief systems that you have, all of those things that are coming into play in your interaction with the others. But the transformative moments are going to come from within.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what I was saying, Pluto is in the third house, and it's in a way also helping you to understand what needs to be transformed and released and all of that. But it's gonna be, life is gonna create situations for you to navigate through, and it's gonna be through interactions.
Mhm.
It's not gonna be, I don't think it's gonna be just, you realizing your self-worth or
Yeah, no.
going deep into meditation and figuring something, no, it's gonna be life, it's gonna be through your family, through your friends, in your community, things that will happen that will make you realize, oh, we have been doing this for so long and it's not working. What
Mhm.
other thing we can do here? How we can navigate this in a different way? So it's gonna be the kind of maybe conflicts with each other, what can help us see that there is time for change.
Yeah. So I think we're seeing some key themes come up, and for me, the word trigger keeps coming up. So you'll be triggered by other people, situations in your life, and those triggers are going to elicit moments for you to examine your belief systems. I mean, Pluto's in the third house, which is the mind and thought. So your belief systems with Saturn, your routines of how you live your life, it's almost like the we're being asked to move out of our comfort zone because we're being asked to leave behind belief systems that have served us until now.
Yeah, Saturn for
And, mhm. Yeah. So, we're using the word trigger a lot. We're using the word inner transformation a lot, and we're talking a lot about routines, how you think about yourself and who you are in relation to the world. And those are the themes that feels to me are coming up in this.
one thing I think on a positive side is that Pluto means also power, and Scorpio is power because it's ruled by Pluto and Mars. So we will have the power and we will have what we need to go through this. So it's a support. We do have something in ourselves that will help us go through it. It will be, because it's Pluto, it's kind of hidden. We might not see it, but it's gonna be an inner strength and clarity because Mercury is in the midheaven. It's gonna be a guidance system and a supportive system helping us go through this.
Okay. Is there anything else you want to add?
No, I think we said everything we needed we have to say.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
All right. So that's for the new moon that's coming up. But again, we talk about how these energies last. So if you're coming to this video and the 28th of July, 2022 has passed, there's still going to be plenty of information. You're coming to it when you were meant to. And these energies will be very intense right now, but they will be playing out for the next year and a half. So, like Laura said, you do not need to make all the changes all at once. Taurus is about patience. So, don't push too hard. Just kind of go with the flow where you can and observe. Just see what happens and what things arise for you, and maybe take note of them. And then, as time goes on, you can kind of explore how they're working and how those keywords that we brought up what they're offering you and what possibilities there are for you to change and to grow from them.
I'm getting the word comfort. So I'm getting that you are going through this, and yes, you will be asked to create changes and release things, but also kind of be gentle with yourself and understand what is your comfort zone.
Yeah.
Like, you are not asked to change your life within a week, but
No.
notice what you can do that feels comfortable and that feels safe, and do those little changes that you can do.
Mhm. All right. So thank you very much for watching. If you're interested in doing more soul astrology work with us, you can find our information below. You can contact either one or both of us for soul astrology readings that we both offer. You also are more than welcome to come join us on our Soul Astrology Facebook group, where we post not just these videos, but insights, fun information, quizzes, and just share all of our curiosities and experiences with astrology and how it's working in our own lives.